So Zach, good to have you here, man. Awesome that you're spending time with me to talk about your project. Congratulations on the hackathon winner. You placed fourth on the DeFi track, right?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thanks so much, man. Yeah, the hackathon was a great experience, and yeah, super happy to be chatting and to talk a bit more about pool props and everything.
Before we get into what you're building, tell me a little bit about the Poolprops team, about yourself, how you got into crypto, how did you end up in Solana, a little bit of your crypto journey.
Okay, yeah, good question. So I've been into crypto for a little while, and I think Solana sort of caught my attention through NFTs mostly. So that was sort of the main thing, like, oh, it's a lot faster than Ethereum. It's a lot cheaper. Don't have to pay gas fees, and there's still this huge NFT market happening. This is super interesting. And then, I got Phantom installed and couldn't go back. And that's sort of the same experience most of the guys on our team had. Um, so that's kind of where the bug started from. And actually, a few of the guys work at Flipside Crypto, which is a pretty awesome like data tool for anyone who's interested in blockchain data. And they do a lot of Solana stuff. So that's kind of how that started. And then Pool Props sort of just came from that organically, in that Michael and Kellen, or Miles Finch as he's known, were sort of chatting, and they've got a sports background, and they kind of just had this idea for a new model of decentralized sports exchange, and that's sort of what started it all.
Good stuff. Good stuff. And tell me a little bit, give me a quick TLDR of what Poolprops is for those that didn't come prepared to the
Okay.
to
Yeah,
this
for
stuff.
sure. Yeah. So Pool Props, it's a decentralized sports betting platform that sort of operates similar to a Uniswap type of thing, wherein you can sort of mint tokens that represent a stake on a specific team, winning or not winning. And if they win, your tokens will cash out. And sort of, there's a lot of benefits that come with that. But one is, if you've ever placed a sports bet, like you're never really going to get great odds because you're always going against the house. But here it's completely player versus player, and the model would be that Pool Props just takes a fee on a transaction or a winning transaction or something like that. So that's conceptually how that works. And then also you can buy a position in a team. The odds will shift in real time, and then you could sell your position for profit, which is super interesting, as well as a slew of other benefits like instant cash outs and always getting to keep control of your own money versus all these other crazy casino platforms. So that's quick TLDR on props.
That's pretty awesome features. Being able to sell your position is
Yeah.
quite impressive, and it creates crazy like market dynamics where you haven't. I've never seen it on any regular traditional
Right.
bets marketplace. And is there anything similar in the market at the moment? Who's your
Yeah.
competition?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I think there's lots of awesome companies building sports betting stuff on Solana. There's some, NFT native sort of gambling platforms that also will have sports betting, but it's not similar to Pool Props in the way that it's completely new. They sort of take Web2 sports books and just put their branding on and pay out the holders, which, in some ways is an innovation in itself and it's pretty awesome, but it's just kind of on a different scale and in a different frame from what we're trying to do, which is just flip an entire sports gaming industry on its head using Solana, not just using Solana as the marketing tool to get NFT degen gamblers on. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's lots of places like that are sort of born out of NFT projects, and then there's also a few protocols like BetDex is a big one that comes to mind that are doing similar things, although a slightly different model. But that's yeah, it's definitely a busy space, but I think that's great because it means it's something people see value in, and there's a huge potential upside, not only for growing Solana, since it's a chain that really helps out with this type of gambling stuff and like really wouldn't be possible to build anywhere else, but it's also going to change an entire industry, which is super exciting.
Yeah, it's indeed impossible to do it anywhere else because of the non-financial transactions that are involved, and you need really fast clearing. You need really cheap transactions to do all these multiple transactions within one. Like you might be buying one token, but behind it's executing multiple transactions. So I totally understand. On the other hand, let's face it, liquidity, the real liquidity, exists in Ethereum. At the moment, and for the quite some time now, and I assume in the foreseeable future as well, Solana is not going to be strong in liquidity. How are you dealing with this issue? How are you getting the liquidity required, or how are you planning on addressing this liquidity issue?
Right. Yeah, that's a tough question, and definitely one that we grapple with quite a bit. I think for up until now we've self-funded the liquidity, which has sort of limited us in some ways, both in not being able to have the depth we would want to have in our pools, but also not being able to offer as many pools as possible. But even with the limited liquidity that we've put up, we've seen incredible returns in volume on that, which is pretty exciting and kind of indicates if / when we open it up to community like liquidity provisioning systems, that'll be super exciting because there's a really strong APY there for lots of people who have expressed interest. So that's kind of our main route. And actually for legal reasons, which we might get into as well, decentralizing as much as possible is going to be super important going forwards. And if we can sort of open that up so anyone can provide liquidity and get a return and see the pools, then it's less so the props organization type of thing. But yeah,
so
it's definitely a struggle.
You're gonna provide some kind of incentive for users and anybody who uses the platform or has extra liquidity. You'll offer some incentive for them to deposit it in the Poolprops pools.
Right. Yeah, and so that would probably come in the form of like a percentage of transaction fees. So whatever the number is of transaction fees, that just gets proportionately distributed out to liquidity providers, which at one point will be props as well. Because if you really think about it, we're just another liquidity provider, and that's sort of the end goal, but it's a long road to get there in terms of decentralizing, and it's something we think about all the time, but good question though.
Yeah, I assume as the platform gets better, traffic will increase, more features are gonna be baked in. It's the journey is long for sure.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
I remember that when the hackathon finished, the platform was live. For the past couple of months, though, due to some pool vulnerability, if I remember correctly, you had to close down the pools. Right. What's happening in this front? Are we going to see the pools open soon? Is this how can we play?
Right. Yeah, good question. So it's actually been about a month, maybe a bit more, a bit less, but around a month. And that kind of comes from us being super prudent more than anything. I think especially like we were talking about, if we're opening it up to, having community members and outside group entities, providing liquidity, it needs to be absolutely rock solid in every sense. And so, yeah, we spotted some security vulnerabilities, and we just sort of, figured like it doesn't matter how long it's going to take. If, anything bad happens or whatever, that kind of just leaves us dead in the water. So basically we're being super careful with that, carefully optimistic. But yeah, I guess that's sort of where we've left off. But in terms of how we're going to remedy that, we've been talking with some awesome security auditing firms to make sure we've got really talented people looking at all of our programs and everything. And yeah, I think hopefully early 2023 we'll be back, is the plan. And with that, we're going to be doing some huge marketing pushes to really get people excited for the return. Epic videos and getting tons of people sort of rallied around the return of props. I think it'd be really fun.
Definitely, we definitely need some hype back to DeFi, some hype back
Yeah,
to yields, and I love the fact that this is a real product and it's not some kind of degenerate
right.
farming kind of
Yeah,
layered farming.
right.
So
Yeah, no,
really looking forward to the release. Uh,
yeah.
any new features, anything new that you're building other than what you presented in the hackathon? Which my next question is, tell me about that experience. But first,
Mhm.
tell me a little bit about what you're shipping, what you're planning on the next couple of months, so we can
Yeah.
keep track of it. And when we talk again, you can tell me all about it.
Okay. Yeah, good questions. So, especially with the bear market, just in general, not right now, but you know, um, we really like to focus on how can we bring as many users as possible, not only to props, but also to Web3 and Solana. And, a big barrier we have to reaching anyone outside of just our core sort of ecosystem is the wallet onboarding process. So that's something that keeps me up at night. And I think something we're really going to need to focus on is getting creative with ways of getting people who have no idea what a wallet is. Maybe that's baby steps in terms of something similar to what Stepin did, and they kind of have like a wallet baked into their app type of thing, um, whatever that may be, to get people into self custody of their own assets through Poolprops as kind of a means to an end. So that's one thing. I'm being very vague on purpose because we're still trying to figure it out. But I think on the complete opposite end of that spectrum, we're also thinking about XNFTs are interesting, and the Solana mobile stack coming out pretty soon from when we're recording this. So we might have some dApps shipping at some point, which could be
Wow,
interesting on
very
the Solana
important
store.
to be with
Yeah,
the launch of the dApp store and the Saga.
yeah, the Saga. Yeah, yeah.
So you're gonna be launching with them at the dApp store something.
Yeah, we plan to. I don't know if we'll launch right away with the dApp store, because I think it's early January or something like that. But I think we've got a pretty solid product that I think could be super interesting just to have, on your phone. I think mobile is the future, and it already has been for a long time. So yeah, we're trying to be on top of that. And yeah, in terms of other features, there's lots of little quality of life things we're going to add. We don't need to get too far into, but um, you know, um, yeah, I don't think I can get too far into stuff
No,
like
but
that.
you,
But
you spilled quite
always
some alpha
shipping.
there. You told me about the dApp store, you're going to Saga, and you're working on self-custody and some kind of seamless way to interact with Poolprops where the user doesn't really need to know about Solana wallets and all the
Yeah,
all the details that we
right.
deal with.
Yeah, yep, yeah. Abstracting it as much as possible is super important, and I think there's a huge delta between all of us in our Web3 bubble who think about like DeFi stuff all day, and then just a regular sports gambler who just cares about getting better odds, and getting their payouts faster. And so that's, I think, somewhere where we have a strong enough value prop that if you see an ad like on Instagram, swipe up ad or whatever, and you're seeing, oh, for the NFL game tonight the odds are this much better, I think that's a pretty compelling reason to sort of get people down our rabbit hole. That's how I think about it.
Definitely, definitely. Um, I want to go back to the previous question about the hackathon. Tell me a little bit
Okay.
about the experience, the journey. What did you like? What did you gain by placing, by even just submitting your project to the hackathon? How was that experience?
Okay, yeah. Well, I'll give out some free game here. So the hackathon was completely instrumental to us in every sense. I think not only in what we gained from it, but also just in what it took from us to get to the point where we even felt comfortable putting out an application. It was a lot of work, a lot of, bringing our product to a point where it's fully baked. A lot of it was actually building a community. Because I think what a lot of judges look for is, are you actually serious about your product, and about your project? And if they go to your Twitter and see you have 2 followers and no one's commenting, I feel like they're less compelled to throw you a bone or pay much attention when compared to a project that, has 100 people or even 20 people who are seriously vouching for it and are genuinely interested. And I think judges can pick up on that. So I think best part of the hackathon was connecting with some awesome people in the space, whether it be judges or, other project founders type of thing. Um, Building out our product even more. Because before the hackathon, it was completely, free, not real soul in beta mode, which was kind of cool. But the problem is no one cares about betting with free money, right? Like it's like, oh, free money. I don't really care. Versus it's like, oh, you could make some soul doing this. Now it's interesting and people care. And I think that was a big push for us. Um, and yeah, obviously, like all the recognition and reaching more people as a result of the hackathon was super great. And so yeah, it was an awesome experience, and I'm sure Solana Foundation will do another one at some point. So I fully recommend everyone give it a shot.
What about investment opportunities?
Mm.
Were you asked to were you approached by VCs? Were you asked if you're going to launch something, if they can get a piece of Poolprops in any way?
Mm. Yeah, yeah, good question. I think yeah, we've had a lot of conversations with VCs, a lot of interesting, fruitful conversations, and I think um, it's kind of a tough time right now to really do a raise without speaking too much of where we are currently. But I think for us, we don't really need too much venture capital money or external funding. um, Really, especially if we're trying to go the decentralized route, we can community fund all the pools, and then really it's just our expenses as the developers, which isn't too material compared to what it might be at other um, types of companies where you've got you know tons of expenses and stuff like that. um, so yeah, definitely as a result of the hackathon, there was lots of awesome conversations. I think right now we've got nothing to announce, but yeah, we'll keep you posted on how that goes.
So no raise yet, and no plans for a raise yet.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd say that. I think we're still having conversations, and yeah, I'm not the big guy on that. I'm more product focused, more so than the big picture, just to be completely transparent. Um, but at
What
least the
about what
hackathon
about
was
a
awesome.
coin? Any plans launching a
A
coin,
coin?
selling it to the people?
Well, yeah, I don't know. The question is, would people want a coin? I don't know. Would you use a pool props coin,
I don't
or
know.
would you?
People seem to want coins, man.
Yeah,
I'm even seeing some airdrops getting value now. Like, look at this
bonk, yeah.
bonk thing. I mean,
Oh yeah, no, well, bonk, yeah, bonk is that impressive for where we are now. But we also toyed with the idea of doing an NFT too, which could have been interesting, kind of on a similar road. But I think I don't know. I think if we can find a really compelling reason to do it, it would make sense. But we haven't seen such a reason to date. And I think a lot of coins are just it's really just dumping, and it can get pretty messy. And I think really the magic of what we've done so far, we've done no NFT, no coin. So people using props, or people using pool props, are using it because they love the product and because they're interested in what we're doing, less so than hoping to flip their NFT and hoping the floor price goes up. um So yeah, not to dunk on, any projects that have done a coin or anything, but I think we just need a compelling reason, and
Yeah, not
besides
having
just
a coin, you avoid so many
yeah.
headaches, of course. Especially if you're
Yeah,
not planning to raise. Why would you even
right.
need a coin? Most
Yeah,
most projects will issue a coin in order to fundraise. It's either you give
right.
coins or you're gonna give equity,
Equity,
and
yeah.
usually giving coins is kind of better for everybody.
Right. Yeah. No, and it's a good question. It's something we're asked a lot. I think, yeah, we've done pretty well so far without having to really incentivize people with that type of ownership or stake in the platform. So good question though. I think we'll see, but no plans right now.
And since you have all this organic growth in Poolprops, because
Hmm.
you're not offering any, as you said, no coin,
Right.
no incentives in any way other than this is a good platform, it works, and there is you can bet. What kind of volumes have you seen in the platform? I know it's not the bullshit season where everybody's uh, using dApps and spending money and betting. But yeah, what kind of volumes in terms of sizes, bet sizes, how many people, any information you could give me on this front would be super helpful.
Yeah. So our dashboard is actually public, so anyone can check this all out for themselves and see what we're doing. I think up until when we shut down the pools about a month ago, we had done $1 million, $1 million in volume, which is pretty good. And we were quite happy with that. I think 2023 we want to 10x that, at least, but maybe that's not a realistic goal if we're focusing on people who are left in Solana. Um, but that's kind of what we've seen. We've had a lot of whales, a lot of whale bets who come in and they'll drop like 40 soul on a game or whatever, 100 soul, whatever it might be. But also just a lot of smaller users just playing it out with a couple soul, trying to see if what happens and just kind of messing around. Um, I think we've gotten good traction, and we definitely have had the idea validated in the sense that people are super into this. And I think, yeah, next goal is just taking that and scaling it up. And World Cup was good for that too.
And as you progress, more leagues, more sports, more options are going to be available to the
Mhm.
people, and I'm pretty sure some people visit and say, "Okay, I'm not interested in that. I'll
Right,
wait until what? I don't know, tennis is
right.
is
Yeah,
listed
yeah,
or something."
yep. Yeah, no, that's true. And so it's sort of something we say is like more liquidity breeds more volume, which will breed more liquidity. So it's kind of like as we get more games, more people are going to be interested, which means more fees, which means more money into the pools, which is just, a net positive value um, type of thing and something we can't wait to explore going into the next year.
And all these non-financial information
Mhm.
are provided by some oracle you're using. Like, how do you keep track of any game that's going out and that's happening out there? How do you bring the result to the blockchain?
Yeah, so as we've been sort of in our early stages, we've had a pretty reliable API. We've sort of just had feed into the pools, and that's been pretty solid. We've been talking with some blockchain oracles to migrate to being fully decentralized in that way, and I guess that's one of our goals for the upcoming year. And that's going to be a step we make on our path to decentralization. But yeah, right now we're not quite there. So that's something we can look forward to in the coming year.
Pretty awesome. Looking
Yeah,
forward.
yeah,
I think that's an important piece
right.
of being transparent and being allowing anybody to verify the result
Mm,
and the reason he won, lost, or whatever the
right.
odds were.
Yeah.
My next question about how you're managing pool props is how are you dealing with governance? How are decisions being taken, and are you looking at any DAO structures, or you're following a Web 2 traditional style of management and organization?
Yeah, I think we've definitely kept it pretty on lock with our core team, just pushing what we think is best in the early stages. I'm probably not the guy to talk to too much about governance. I think it's something we're looking to as we go forwards, but for now, it's been really a Web 2 approach, because I think that has its own merit in a lot of ways in getting things done pretty quickly and efficiently, especially when you're this young of a company, just trying to grow and iterate as fast as possible. But that's definitely in the cards for as things get going. But that's a good question. I think something we need to put a bit more thought into.
It's one of the strong cards of Solana, if you ask me. I mean, from all the roadmaps, Saga is good, huge experiment though. But all the things Solana is doing, I'm excited the most about DAOs and governance and upgrades on realms. Okay. Some really cool features are coming. Some features that don't exist in any other blockchain. And really? I think it's the new narrative, the narrative that Solana has left, other than the NFTs, is governance, and I think it's the strongest card at the moment. Hence my question, because I totally agree and I totally understand that in the phase Poolprops is at the moment, you need to be moving fast, and DAOs are slow, very, very, very slow, and it wouldn't help. But I see what you're saying, that this is something you would look into it in the future. Totally makes sense.
100%. Yeah, good.
Last question is about Dean's List. Tell me a little bit about your experience with Dean's List. How was the feedback report? A little bit of feedback for Dean's List, and just a couple of words.
Okay, Dean's List has been great. I mean, you guys have been super professional, and I think reported everything super accurately, and I think I don't have anything bad to say at all. I think you guys have been great, and I think everyone should definitely hit you guys up, because we've had nothing but a great experience with you guys.
Thank you, man. Thank you for the kind words.
Yeah.
Anything else you would like to tell the world? To any shout outs to projects, to developers? Any news you wanna give us? Any alpha? Or I don't know, any hacker house you'll be attending, so we can come vibe together.
Oh yeah, no, I think definitely words of advice is to get as much Solana merch as you can. It's going to be definitely a collector's item one day. I think, I'd recommend everyone to get out to a hacker house 2023, meet some people in the community, and buy as much Solana as you can. Well, it's incredibly cheap. That's what I'd say.
A word of advice is, if you're going to hacker houses, don't carry any clothes. You get so much merch there. You don't need anything. Just go there and you'll have enough clothes for the week.
You'll get a new wardrobe. Yeah, for sure.
So, any news? Any shout outs for our closing?
I think shout out to Poolprops, shout out Solana team. I think 2023 is going to be a great year. As much as it's going to have its challenges, I think it's a serious opportunity for anyone who's really looking to build something incredible that'll last a long time. That's what I'll say. And I also just want to say thanks to you guys and Dean's List for the interview, and it's been awesome to chat a bit more.
Thank you, man. Thank you for continuing to build. Thank you for staying in the Solana ecosystem, and let's dispel those FUD that I've been reading around, that Solana has 75 developers left. Come on, man. I've spoken to 75 developers in Solana in the past 48 hours. How could that be possible? Thank you so much. Keep on building. And
Okay.
definitely, please drop the alpha when you have it. Come back to the Dean's List or to Grape community, or just reach out to me and I'll inform the people.
Okay.
Thank you,
Sounds good.
Zach.
Thank
And
you for having
to the
me.
moon.